Hey everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a nice Sunday, beautiful weekend, right? We'll take it. So I want to talk a little bit about property tax, of course. You can see I've got the logo. Where is it? Here we go. The logo and unfair property tax. And that is the group with the initiated measure. And so one of the things I'm running into is a consistent pattern of elected officials expressing concerns about what will happen when the measure passes that are not valid. They're making claims that just do not pertain to this measure. Now, a lot of the concerns deal with what happened or with a measure in 2012. All right. And if the concerns were something that was realistic with the measure, I would have the same concerns. It's all about local control. Okay. So city commissioners, county commissioners, state legislators, uh, school folks, right? Superintendents and others, they commonly have what I'll say is a misunderstanding of the measure. Now, there may be some that are intentionally misrepresenting what the measure will do, but I think by and large, the vast majority are just honestly concerned because they are under the impression that these concerns will arise if the measure comes. Again, local control concerns. So, um, the local control, what is it about? It's two things. Number one, can you budget how you need to budget? Meaning, can you spend the money where you see fit? Right? Can you address the things in a system of priorities of most important to least important? That's one. Two, can you set the budget to meet those needs? Meaning, can you raise the revenue to meet the needs of your budget and the necessary budget increases? Both of those things are retained, right? Nobody has any control of anything with local budgets except the local folks. The state legislature has none. As far as meeting future needs, increased needs, locals continue to have that control. They can raise revenue to meet those increased needs by sales tax, by assessments, by infrastructure fees, by bonding, all of these things that are available to them now, just not property tax. And all of those things that are still available to them that they can use are better for you as the citizen, as the average voter, because you have more access to it. It's more transparent. You can see what's going on in city and county commission meetings. You can stand up to the podium and give public input. Many times you can take things to a vote. Totally different than property tax, where you have a valuation of where the hell did that come from, where your recourse is almost none, unless you're really connected good. Then maybe you can get your property taxes down, but rarely happens. So I have, as an example, a memo or a communication from a state senator to his district executive committee. I'm not going to use his name. I'm not trying to make this about individuals. I don't want to call people out, but I don't have a problem with what he's saying. This is a good guy who's saying this, by the way. He clearly has a misunderstanding. So this is his communication to his district executive committee. He says, so here's my 2 cents on the property tax issue. Property taxes are too high and continue to climb. We all agree with that. Absolutely. Fully agree with that. County and city commissioners and school boards continue to get reelected. That's where the solution should lie. Yes. Again, 100% true. The reason we are having a problem is because elected officials are overspending. The state elected officials, the legislators, are overspending like crazy. That's what this measure does. It's going to take some of that wasteful spending and put it in your pocket effectively by replacing property tax. So you don't have to pay property tax. So this addresses $1 billion a year in wasteful spending by the state legislature. Okay. This senator is absolutely correct. The solution lies in electing people that are going to respect your hard work, respect your hard-earned tax dollars. So this measure, although I would like it to, does not address that. Remember, I said that future revenue needs can be met by raising sales tax, assessments, infrastructure fees, bonding. You will still need to keep your local officials held accountable if you don't want those to skyrocket. This doesn't fix that. There is no fix except electing better people. So he is 100% correct. He says, proof, the state has taken on some aspects of cost to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars at the county level to provide property tax relief, and yet no one sees their taxes go down. Again, he is 100% correct. And this was predictable. And some of us, including myself, back in 2013 said this is not going to work. This is effectively a subsidy of county and city spending. When you subsidize something, you get more of it. So it didn't work. Legislative Council will tell you that the state bought down 40% of your property taxes. Do you feel like 40% of your property taxes were picked up by the state? I don't, because it didn't work. So you're paying more. So we agree. Those in authority to address this at the subdivision levels of government don't seem to have the resolve to address it. Should they be replaced? Yes, they should. And that's what he's saying. They should. And he says, or should we shift the responsibility to the state legislature to control costs? Because he's under the impression that responsibility to control costs goes to the state legislature. Now, if that were true, that would be horrible because the state is just as bad or worse. The legislature has no sense of control on spending. So if this did give control to the legislature, that would be horrible, but it doesn't. Okay. He said, remember, we had a $2.5 billion surplus this last session, and all we could garner was approximately $565 million-ish to give back to the taxpayers. True. It was horrible, pitiful. I'm not sure that the citizens understand that a solution like this initiative is going to take local authority away from them and put it in the hands of the legislature. Dear Senator, that's not true. Authority, local authority. There's no authority. This measure, specifically, when you read it, it says that the state must replace the revenue levied by each political subdivision at the 2024 levels, what you pay in 2025. There's no authority. That's not authority. Those numbers are in a book, in a 25-page booklet put out by the tax commissioner, treasurer, I think tax commissioner. You just go in that book, you find the table, you find the county, that's how much they get. So that money goes to fill the pot that up until this passes, you and I have been filling. You and I have been filling the pot with property tax money that we write a check for. Now that same pot is going to get filled by the state. No authority. Please tell me where authority is given to the state legislature. Because everything above that is retained, the responsibility and the authority is retained by local officials. So there's no authority given. He says, I'm in favor of solutions to address the property tax problem. I just don't think this is it. Questions I would want answered are, who decides how much money each county, city, and township gets? How do those decisions come to pass? Okay. There are no decisions to be made. As I said, those numbers for every single political subdivision are in a book that is put out every year. Starting from the moment this passes for however many years into the future, those numbers will be in the 2024 book. No decisions are made. He said, if a political subdivision wants or wants something, a new courthouse, school, jail, water treatment plant, etc., who gets to decide if or when those things get done? The locals do. Just like they do now. But instead of going to property tax, they will go to other things. That's why you, the voter, the citizen, must elect good people, because this measure doesn't fix that. What about inflationary increases? Same thing as now. See, the senator is under the impression that everything that property tax is currently being paid for and going into the future will be paid by the state. So the state would have to decide about inflationary increases in that circumstance, would have to decide how much money to give each local subdivision, because some are going to grow faster, some have different needs, but they're not. That's the beautiful thing. This senator, if he were correct in his assumption, I would be right along with him. That this would be we wouldn't go any further. We'd be done, because those concerns would override the benefit. We can't have the state taking over those types of decisions. But again, the state does not with this measure. What about the current state-funded programs that are in place or are funded at the level they are, because some things are now going to have to be cut or eliminated if this measure happens? Well, all of the funding will stay in place because we have identified $2 billion in wasteful spending, over $2 billion in wasteful spending. We only need $1 billion to replace property tax. So you just cut out the crap. State legislators, cut out the crap. You've been on a binge party. You've been like a college frat house or sorority house. And it's time for us, the citizens, to rein you in. We are going to take $1 billion away from you, and we're going to keep it. Do you see, folks? That's what this measure does. We take $1 billion per year away from the wasteful, profligate, drunken sailor spending of the state legislature, and we keep it in our own pocketbooks, and we spend it. How much do you spend on property taxes every year? That's what you keep every year. What do you want to do with that? You want to go on a vacation? You want to fix up your house? You want to build a garage? You want to buy a boat? You want to help get your kid through college? You want to get braces for your kid? What do you want to do? You'll be able to do it because that money stays in your pocket, and it comes from wasteful spending, not from cuts of services for things we need. That's how this measure works. This is why I'm passionate about it. It is a no-brainer. This senator, if we would be able to have the discussion, an honest discussion, I believe 100% would be behind this measure. The problem, I think, though, is maybe he wouldn't, because a lot of people think there's got to be a catch. It's too good to be true. There must be a catch, and there's not. It is that good. It is that good, and it is true. The reason we're in this position, unlike every single other state in the nation, we have a low population in our state, and we have a tremendous amount of money coming in from oil taxes, and we're not taking advantage of it. So he says, so how are we going to deal with that if things have to be cut or eliminated? Well, they don't. Are we ready for that decision process? Again, it doesn't apply. It is always a good thing to do until it affects the programs that touch us personally. No programs, folks, I repeat, if they cut programs that are important, if they raise taxes to replace the property tax, those things will be referred back to the voter. There is no need, zero need. We have no tolerance for the legislature to not take responsibility for their overspending and cut their wasteful overspending. If they think they're going to go, for instance, like Representative Hedlund, chair of Finance and Tax, believes that every penny that's going to be required to replace property tax has to be brought in by new taxes, by a jacked up state sales tax. If that happens, he needs to be replaced, and that vote, that bill, that law will be referred and will be rescinded by the people of North Dakota. No tax increases, no loss of services. There will be one thing that's lost, and that is $1 billion of wasteful spending every year. The senator says, again, I'm for reform, but this answer leaves me with too many unanswered questions for comfort. I think he means this measure. And again, I hope that I've answered those questions. It's so straightforward. I feel like I should repeat myself another 3 times, but I won't. I will give you a break on that. Take a look at the banner there. Go to endpropertytax.com. Sign up. We need, I tell you what, grassroots, getting signatures. We want 45,000. It's a slow slog. It's tough work. It's not like when a business is paid and pays their people to get signatures. That's fast. They get that done in 2, 3, 4 months tops. We're working hard at it. We need more help. We need donations. We need you to be involved. This is something that is good for every single North Dakotan. Thanks for tuning in.